Good day, friends. I hope you're doing well. It's Frankie Rose. Welcome to my channel. Well, the notebook from Brian Laundrie's dry bag has been released, and it does seem like there appears to be a confession to ending Gabby Petito's life. And one of the pages reads, in part, I ended her life. I thought it was merciful. That is what she wanted, but I now see all the mistakes I made. So you can make what you want. I'm going to let you know exactly what it says. I personally think it's based on fiction, but this is only my opinion. You can do your own research and see what you think. So Steve Bertolino, I don't know if you remember him. He is the Laundrie family's attorney and seems to still be their attorney, put out this statement with the pages from the diary, or notepad, I guess. Today, the Petito family attorney, Patrick Riley, and myself met with the FBI in Tampa to sort through and take possession of the personal items that belonged to Gabby and Brian. This was a previously agreed upon exchange to enable both the Petitos and the Laundries to receive what belonged to their respective children. As part of this return of property in the FBI's custody, I was given Brian's notebook. I would like to share with the public the note that the FBI alluded to when they said on January 21st, 2022, that Brian claimed responsibility for the death of Gabby Petito. Although I have chosen to release this letter as a matter of transparency, I will not be commenting further as there are still proceedings pending in court. And then he says, these are Brian's words. So I'm going to do this page by page. I do believe there's going to be 8 pages, and I will try to keep them in order here for you. Page 1, Gabby. I wish I was right by your side. I wish I could be talking to you right now. I'd be going through every memory we made, getting even more excited for the future. But we've lost our future. I can't live without you. I lost everything day we could have spent together. Not too sure. Every morning, I'll never get to play with, now this was illegible again, never go hiking with TJ. I love you more than anything. I can't bear to look at our photos, to recall great times, because it's why I cannot go on. When I close my eyes, I will think of laying on the roof of the van, falling asleep to the sight of, illegible, at the crystal geyser. I will always love you. Now this is page 2. If you were reading Gab's journal, looking at photos from our life together, flipping through old cards, you wouldn't want to live a day without her, knowing that every day you wake up will be without her. You wouldn't want to wake up. I'm sorry to everyone this will affect. Gabby was the love of my life, but I know, and again, can't read it, by many. I'm so very sorry to her family because I love them. I consider her younger siblings my best of friends. I am sorry to my family. This is a shock to them as well. A terrible grief. So there on page 2, he is actually stating that his family knows about this. And I do believe this will probably help the Petitos in their lawsuit. You know, he doesn't have to wake up without her, but they do. It was a chicken shit thing, my opinion. So page 3. They loved as much, if not more than me, a new daughter to my mother, an aunt to my nephews. Please do not make this harder for them. This, again illegible, as an unexpected tragedy, rushing back to our car, trying to cross the streams. Again, you can't read the next word. Before it got too dark to see, too cold. I heard a splash and a scream I could hardly see. I couldn't find her for a moment. I shouted her name. I found her breathing, and then you can't read it, gasping, and then two lines are kind of smudged to read, and then it says the blazing hot national parks. Page 4. The temperatures had dropped to freezing, and she was soaking wet. I carried her as far as I could down the stream towards her car, stumbling, exhausted, in shock when and again, you can't read the word, and knew I couldn't safely carry her. I started a fire and spooned her as close to the heat. She was so thing. Had already been freezing too long. I couldn't at the time realize that I shouldn't have started the fire first, but I wanted her out of the cold back in the car. From where I started the fire, I had no idea how far the car might be. Page 5. Knew it was across the creek. When I pulled Gabby out of the water, she could not tell me what hurt. She had a small bump on her forehead that eventually got larger. Her feet hurt, her wrists hurt. She was freezing, shaking violently. While carrying her, she continually made sounds of pain. Laying next to her, she said little, lapsing between violent shakes and gasping in pain, begging for an end to her pain. She would fall asleep, and I would shake her awake for fear she shouldn't close her eyes if she had a concussion. Page 6. She would wake in pain, start her whole painful cycle again, while furious that I was the one waking her. She wouldn't let me try to cross the creek, thought like me that the fire would go out in her sleep and she'd freeze. I don't know the extent of Gabby's injuries, only that she was in extreme pain. I ended her life. I thought it was merciful. That is what she wanted. But I now see all the mistakes I made. Again, you can't read it. I was in shock, but from the moment I decided, took away her pain, I could not go on without her. Page 7. I rushed home to spend any time I had left with my family. I wanted to drive north and let James or TJ kill me, but I wouldn't have wanted them to spend time in jail over my mistake, even though I'm sure they would have liked to. I am mending my life, not because of fear of punishment, but rather because I can't stand to live another day without her. I've lost our whole future together, every moment we could have cherished. I'm sorry for everyone's loss. Please do not make life harder for my family. They lost a son and a daughter. The most beautiful girl in the world. Gabby, I am sorry. Page 8. I have killed myself by this creek in the hopes that animals may tear me apart. That may make some of her family happy. Please pick up all of my things. Gabby hated people who littered. So that is what has been released. It's shocking. I did not expect him to start talking about her wiping out in a creek or a river. Things seem to me personally like maybe this was put together so that the family cannot be, how would I put that? No one would come back to his family. They're trying to say at this point, they are in court, actually. I'm not sure if everybody knew this, but they are back in court, Laundries and Petitos, basically due to the fact that the Laundries had this information of where Gabby was, and they chose not to say anything. Now, I don't know if it's a law in the US, but in Canada, you can't do that. It's guilt by association or guilty knowledge after the fact. But I'm not quite sure how that is in the US or if it's even state to state. So for now, that is what we have. I'd be very curious as to what y'all think. Leave some messages, or sorry, some comments down below. I'd love to know what you think, and I'm going to keep my eye on this. I do hope that the Petitos are granted a trial. I think they deserve the answers. Okay. Well, for now, friends, I'm going to say thank you for spending the time with me. I truly appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.